The legendary Mr. Skin.
Dude, Mr. Skin.
MrSkin.com.
Skin, everybody.
Coast to coast from Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, it's the Mr. Skin Podcast with your hosts, Mr. Skin and Andrea Lowell. We want to hear from you. Call the show and leave us a voicemail at 484-SKIN-POD. Find all things Mr. Skin Podcast online at MrSkinPodcast.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Mr. Skin Podcast, sponsored by our good friends at Adam & Eve, the preeminent retailer of adult toys and movies online. They're 40 years in the business. Adam & Eve has served over 20 million satisfied customers. So be sure to visit adamandeve.com today and take advantage of an amazing limited time offer for 50% off your first item. 3 free adult DVDs and a free mystery gift and free shipping. You know, we love that. Hey, Mr. Skin, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, cool. Really good. I'm psyched Adam and Eve is part of the Mr. Skin podcast. That's a big honor. They're bigger than big, so very honored by that.
Such a great company, and yeah, they're a great addition to our show, and I'm very happy about that. So.
Hey,
awesome.
Andrea, did you notice a change in the introduction to the show?
You know, I did, and I was wondering about that. I was like, okay, I hear Andrea Lowell in Los Angeles and Mr. Skin in Chicago. And so, do you have an announcement for us?
Yes, it is. And it is, as Jimmy said in his email to all of us this weekend, it is with a heavy heart that I inform you that Jimmy actually it's actually a great opportunity for him. He took a full-time position on the Kennedy Show, which is really cool. He's going to be, but he's the head writer of the Kennedy Show now, and it's a 9-to-5 job. Something, Andrea, you and I can't relate to, but it's a 9-to-5 job, and he just won't be able to be a part of the podcast. So, yeah, listen, as far as I'm concerned, I loved having Jimmy here, and this was totally just circumstances. It was nothing, not a problem with Jimmy, Andrea, and I. We love working with Jimmy, but at the same time, it's like I said, it's a full-time gig. It's not a 9-to-5. It's a 6 to 9, 69 job. So he's really excited about it, and it's a great opportunity. And he told me about this a couple weeks ago. They thought he had a really good shot. So, and he had these interviews, so he had to miss the podcast. And I'm truly happy for him. And it's like I said, a great opportunity for him. And hey, listen, this is just a podcast. That's his career. So no more Jimmy, which it's bummer because when it comes to talking sports, I won't have anyone to talk sports with on this show. So we'll see. Yeah.
I can always pretend like I know what you're talking about, Mr. You know?
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. Well, Jimmy will be at Fox News, and we'll just talk about Foxes in the nudes. So that's what we'll do here.
And that's what this podcast is really about, right? This isn't ESPN. People want to hear about the buns and the bush and the boobs.
No, and you know what? I was telling the guys here at the Skin offices, like I was driving into work today, and I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to be talking about today? I was, and then I think like, oh, it was kind of a slow week, so I want to make sure I have good stuff to talk about. By the time I'm ready to do the show, I'm sitting here going, how the hell am I going to jam all this great stuff into 45 minutes? Because it's amazing how much nudity news in 1 week happens here at the Mr. Skin offices. And it's not only stuff that we are looking for, it's kind of stuff that just finds us also. And just so much great stuff. So I guess, Andrea, without further ado, I'm only getting moving on this just because I'm worried I'm not going to get to everything in our allotted time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So anyway, let me start with TV nudity, which is always, here we record on Mondays. It's always big because of everything that happens on Sunday night. But I want to give you a trivia question.
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. What TV star is the best butt on television right now and shows it?
But here's the issue with that. We've talked about that there's so many shows on TV right now with nudity, with quality nudity. Like, what is it, 97 or something like that? I don't even know.
It's actually 103 shows current that have nudity. Okay. And with Netflix and Amazon doing so many shows, just so much. And that probably is not a fair question because there's a lot of girls with great butts. But right now, the girl that I just love the most, that I feel has the best backside on television, is Keri Russell on FX's The Americans. And
you know what? Yes.
well, when I did my Anatomy Awards a few weeks ago when I was on the Howard Stern show and the big promotion here, the best butt was Keri Russell for 2016 nudity. And what happened was last Wednesday, season 5, episode 2 on FX, Keri Russell gets in the shower. And Andrea, I hope you could see the picture because she's in the shower with her back to the camera, curtains open a bit, full head to toe from the back shot of her, just kind of shampooing her hair. Look at that butt. Andrea, is that not incredible?
Skin, let me tell you, I am a huge Keri Russell fan, and it has nothing to do with, a lot of girls my age are like, oh, we liked Felicity or whatever the hell that shit she was on. I don't care about that at all. I've always been a fan of hers because I think she's so intriguingly beautiful. That girl next door look, that curly hair, that really like petite body. But this goes to show, like, she probably weighs honestly like 90 pounds, but her little butt is so perky and round. I've been a fan of The Americans and was dying for this next season to come out. Like literally, getting
so you're
anxious,
up to speed,
anxious over it. And I was just like, yes, because it's one of those things where her nudity is usually pretty brief, but it's so profoundly good. It's like, you don't expect an ass like that to be coming off of her. And especially because it's a period piece, it's set in the late 70s and 80s. And the clothes that they wear are not really sexy.
Yeah, her Ruski rump. But you're right, because girls in the 80s, it was just a different body shape, and
it was like looser clothes, higher waisted. The pants weren't
shoulder
super
pads,
tight,
shoulder pads,
loose tops. Nothing was really fitted.
Yeah.
And she plays a mom too, so she's not wearing super skanky outfits. But when she does her kind of spy activities, I remember the season 1, episode 1, she was like sucking some dick, dude. And that I was like, get it, girl. I instantaneously was like, I am not only a fan of life of hers, I need to watch this show. I love this show. You're right. And it was weird. What was so weird about it is she, up until The American, she was best known from Felicity. Yeah.
So like the teenage chick show. Yeah. So that's what everyone knew her from. Now, we knew her. She did a show or a movie called 8 Days a Week right before Felicity came out, where she was in a kind of a wife beater tank top with no bra in a sprinkler, which technically wasn't nude because the wife beater didn't come off, but you could see right through it. It was really sexy. And it's in the opening credits right when the movie's starting. And we went nuts over her. And then this was right around the time I launched the website. And it's really a hot scene. But she never really did any nudity for many, many years. And then The Americans came along, and my God, and this has commercials too. I want to stress, this isn't like HBO or Showtime. This has commercials on FX, and we get to see this. So anyway, I don't want to do a whole show on Keri Russell, though I could, because I have so much other stuff to get to. But, by the way, when you have a chance, please click on we did a GIF of her in the shower.
Okay, I'm clicking.
Just a GIF where you can just see her butt bounce as she's shampooing her hair. It's very, very enjoyable. A picture's worth 1,000 words, but not in this instance. The GIF is more. So anyway, so season 5, so season 5, episode 2 of The Americans on FX. Incredible butt shot. The number 1 butt so far this year. She is the front runner, or should I say back runner, for this year's best butt, and it's March 20th today. So I'm very I just have a lot of confidence that she's going to end up having the best butt again in the Anatomy Awards. I hope someone beats her, but it's going to be tough. But I got a lot of other stuff to get to. So
that's wrong.
During the week, Amazon, who I've told you has become a crazy good source for television nudity. They have so many shows with nudity. They do this thing every year, and we love it at MrSkin.com because they have about 7 or 8, I hope I have the number correct, but it's roughly about 7 or 8 pilots that they release. Just one episode of 7 or 8 different possible shows, and they release them, and then they want people to watch each of the pilots and then vote what they are most excited about so they can judge which ones they should,
continue with or
further episodes
and make a season. I think that's a really good idea.
They're like testing the waters. Yeah, they're testing the waters.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. So anyway, there were two in particular we were all over because they featured great nude scenes. One is this movie. Now, nobody's going to hear this because it's just a pilot, so bear with me here, but it's called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, starring Rachel Brosnahan. She's a housewife in the 50s doing stand-up. It's a really wild premise, but you might know her. She was the girl in House of Cards that had the great lesbian scene. I think her character name was Rachel on House of Cards, but we've seen her naked before. We love her. And the scene was really, really a nice little scene. She's up on stage. Now, to do a topless shot in the 50s up on stage as a stand-up comedian was kind of weird, but anyway, she had some really nice nude scenes, so our guys right away were like, Skin, you got to see this, and because it came out. And anyway, so The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is one that we really like here. We will definitely be voting for this one. And it's like I said, Rachel Brosnahan, Housewife 50 stand-up. Now, there was another one they put out called by the way, I think I'm pretty sure the creator of Gilmore Girls is the creator of this Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, so we're very excited about that. Yeah. All right. So anyway, so check that out. Then there was another one they put out called Budding Prospects.
Okay.
And it's based on the T.C. Boyle's book. It's directed, the dude that did Bad Santa, Terry Swigoff, did this movie. So this show. So we have high hopes for it. And Budding Prospects is about what? 3 guys who grow marijuana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the 80s. Budding Prospects. But this one almost knocked me off my chair when I saw it this week. So
why is that, Skin?
Well, Andrea, just look at the picture of Claire O'Kane, and she's
budding out.
Yeah. Oh my God. So the 3 guys, the guys who are the stars of this Budding Prospects in the 80s are trying to grow weed. And this is the 1980s. And they come to this girl's house. She answers the door in just a shirt with one of the most outstanding muffs I've ever seen. Now,
it's a full-grown bush.
Yeah, and we're here at the Skin offices. We're doing careful analysis of this, and we really believe that's not a merkin because there's a happy trail going on.
Yeah.
That does not look like a merkin to me. How about yourself?
I will say merkin technology is evolving, and I think that they are finding ways.
The only caveat.
But I feel like they are finding ways to make it look more natural by taking little individual hairs and having them kind of be connected through either like eyelash glue or other things to tack them on and make them look more natural. I don't think they would do that, though, on a pilot presentation of a show on Amazon that they're looking to see viewer response on, because the time and effort it would take a makeup artist to put that bad boy on, they would be like, fuck it, it's a pilot, who cares? So I think based on all the information and of course me zooming in like a good little girl that I am, I think that it is natural. And I need to know, who is this Claire O'Kane? Because she looks familiar. Is she like someone's daughter?
No, she's nothing. I mean, I don't want to say she's nothing, but we did a little background check. And
she looks like she could be a descendant of like The Rock, or like, she has like a look of a famous person. I can't put my finger on it.
Well, her nickname here at the Skin offices is Harawana. She's unbelievable. So anyway, my fascination with Bush, I am all over Budding Prospects. So when you go vote and you check out these pilots, go for the shows with the nudity. There was a number of other shows that didn't have nudity, but these 2 obviously caught our eyes here at the Mr. Skin offices. And by the way, come to MrSkinPodcast.com to check out this pick, especially because it's pretty impressive, and she's really cute too. She's got she's just a pretty girl, and we'll see. There's no guarantee that this show will be picked up, but we'll do our best here at Mr. Skin to make it happen. So I also wanted to talk. There was a couple TV things I wanted to talk about. This. Okay, so Big Little Lies, Andrea. Have you watched this yet?
I haven't watched it yet. I've been so busy, but it's like I'm like so anxious to just sit down and watch it, man.
I have a feeling you'd really like it. Now, let me tell you my angle on it.
Okay. Because before you ever mentioned it to me, I had seen the previews and stuff for it, or promotions for it, and I was like, I have no interest in watching anything about moms or whatever. But after you've kind of explained to me what it's really about and the level of nudity going on, that's what convinced me.
Well, you being a Californian, it's about pretentious rich bitches in Monterey, California, and it's like these 4 moms: Nicole Kidman, Shailene Woodley, Reese Witherspoon, and Laura Dern, and they all have first graders, and it's dealing with all the craziness in their lives. Very wealthy people, and all the infighting, and there's a murder, and they're trying to destroy each other. It's like Desperate Housewives with nudity, yet.
And bigger stars.
Yeah, and bigger stars, like movie stars on a television show. So, anyway, what's been cool about it, 2 things. Number one, they've had some really good nude scenes in the first, I think, what are they, in their 5th episode? They've aired 5 episodes, season 1. I think they're doing 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Anyway, the star so far has been Nicole Kidman, because her and that husband, CP, the EP, just said they're doing 8 episodes. So they're 5 episodes, so they got 3 to go. Okay. Anyway, Nicole Kidman, nudity star so far. She's married to Alexander Skarsgård. They're banging all the time. Some really good stuff. One last week where he was on his knees. She was in the shower. He was on his knees eating her. It was so hot. Yes, okay. Very hot. And
I like that.
And we were all waiting this week for Reese Witherspoon. She was like the one who hadn't had a sex or nude scene yet, but unfortunately,
she was the holdout.
Yeah, she was the holdout. Last night, she had like this fantasy or dream. I can't remember. I'm not 100% sure what it was, but anyway, she had a sex scene in it. But our guys are pretty adamant here at the Skin offices that it's a body double. There's no face in any. Yeah, we're going with body double.
These aren't Reese's Pieces?
Oh God, Andrew, you're so good. I love it. No, we're calling this sexy body double. Aww. But it was a hot sex scene, and Nicole Kidman had a sexy scene where she was on like the kitchen counter, and he's banging her. It's really hot. She didn't actually get naked in this, but it was very, very hot. Now, the other bonus to Big Little Lies, Andrea, and you could relate to this, Mrs. Skin is not only a fan of the show. When said show is over, Mrs. Skin is very excited for Mr. Skin, and it's always a good thing. So I'm loving the show from the angle of I'm enjoying watching it with her, but when it's done, good things happen at the Skin household. So
anytime that we can find shows that are like that are what I like to call viewing for 2, where it's like the guy gets his dose of nudity, the show's actually good that you both want to watch it, and then leaves the chick feeling frisky. Like, I know that if I were to watch this with my man and see, whatever that Skarsgård dude is eating out Nicole in the shower, I would want to go to the shower after. So this is one of those shows that if anyone's married that's listening or in a relationship and they just need something that they can both watch, this sounds like a really good idea.
Right. It's my recommendation right there.
Totally.
It's a good husband-wife show or boyfriend-girlfriend. So check it out. It's called Big Little Lies, HBO Sunday nights, and they're 5 episodes in. They have 8 total, so we have 3 to go. We'll find out who was murdered and all the other good stuff. So
very cool.
There's that. One other thing I wanted to bring up, I thought this was really funny. So
okay,
my daughter, who's in 7th grade, she's 12 years old. She's found this show that she's nuts about. She binge watches it. It's called The Fosters, and I don't know shit about the show, but she's always like, Dad, I'm done with my homework. Could I watch some episodes of The Fosters? I'm like, go ahead. I don't know what the hell it's all about. So I get notifications from the guys, because our guys go through every movie and television show. So I don't physically do it. They do it, then hit me with all the nudity and sex, and then I do my research on it. So I see this thing. It's The Fosters, season 4, episode 16. Terry Polo and Sherry Son in this great lesbian kiss. Now, Terry Polo, you'd know her. Remember the Meet the Parents and Fokker? She was Ben Stiller's wife.
Absolutely.
In those movies. Yeah. So I guess they had like a lesbian marriage, and at the end they were like, you may kiss the bride, and it was really hot. And then all of a sudden it starts thundering and lightning right when they kiss, and all the people bail out, but then these two are like, screw it, we're so into each other, they keep making out. It was just kind of cool to see Terry Polo, who, by the way, has been naked before. The movie Quick is a great spot to see her. She's in the front seat of a car. And anyway, Terry Polo also, I don't know if you remember this, but she did Playboy right after Meet the Parents, the first one, which is kind of rare because it was after she became famous versus before she was famous. So
anyway, I actually definitely remember that. She had not only the cover, but she had a huge pictorial inside that was really hot.
Yeah, so it was like at the height of her fame, and that doesn't happen too often. But anyway, so I just found that it was really funny. So I'm sitting here going, my God, so this is what my daughter is so excited about, because she always my so she's my 7th grade daughter. My 3rd grade daughter now, because the big sister wants to watch this show, she wants to watch it. So my 7th grade daughter is always saying, it's inappropriate for you. It's inappropriate. Like the little one can't watch it. But now I know what's going on this. I had never even. I had no idea. I thought it was like a Disney show or something. So now I know what's going on in my house. My daughter watching the Fosters.
What network is it on, Skin?
CP, do you know? I think it's from I think it's an Amazon or a Netflix, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, gotcha. Just in case people want to see this, Terry Polo, Sherry Som kissing scene, or see what your 7th grade daughter's into.
Yeah, I know. It's like, whoa, all right, well, good for her. So anyway, as usual, lots of good
stuff this week.
Yeah,
TV,
lots
man.
of TV stuff to talk about,
and Amazon bringing the heat with these pilots and stuff. I mean, I'm very pleased.
Yeah, and it's great. So anyway, that was TV. So I did want to get into. There was a couple of quick things movie-wise that we have to talk about that we didn't talk last week. So there's a movie called Passengers, which stars Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt, and it came out right around Christmas time, 2016. So it was weird because we didn't get to do it for the Anatomy Awards because I don't think it did really well in the theaters, and we didn't. Whatever. But the bottom line is Jennifer Lawrence, who's been very stingy as far as movies and television go, actually had a nude scene in this at the 58-minute mark. She has a sex scene with Chris Pratt, and you see little boobage, little butt crack. It is by no way is this going to be a top 10 nude scene of the year or like a real great. It's a hot sex scene. It's quick, but for someone that's never been naked, this is her nude debut. So she's a huge star right now. So Jennifer Lawrence, the movie's Passengers. It's out on Blu-ray. Came out on the 14th, so it was a little late for last week to talk about. But anyway, you can see Jennifer Lawrence naked in Passengers, which is out on Blu-ray as we speak.
Yeah, and even though it is like very brief and it's kind of shot from a distance, it is a full nudity. She's on top of him having sex, and I like that panty shot with kind of the one. Oh,
and she had some really good. Yeah, she had some really good underwear shot. Now, here's the weird thing.
Okay,
she was the big part of that fappening, that big cell phone dump that happened a couple years ago. And she was the one who just got it the worst because I don't know what the hell she was thinking, but she did like up the butt, spread vagina.
Wait, I didn't see any of that.
Oh
really?
Yeah, she was like crazy.
Are you serious? I didn't see one of those pictures. I'd heard the story, but if I thought it was that good, I would have looked.
Well, yeah, and my position is, we don't put that stuff at MrSkin.com, but
no, I know you don't, because you don't perpetuate private pictures.
No, but I get that. And I have to be honest, it's the business I'm in. I have to be aware of this stuff. I check it out, but I was blown away, especially for someone that had never done a nude scene, like how graphic her pictures were in that first big fappening dump. They just had another one with Emma Watson and a few others that is out there, but this was the big one from a couple years ago, dubbed the fappening. And it's just weird because after you've seen all that stuff, like this may seem like, well, not a huge deal after you've seen the other stuff, but there's something. She looks so good in this movie, The Passenger, in Passengers. So anyway, I want to bring it up. But it is a weird, it's a weird dynamic when you've already seen someone in their cell phone pics, and then they're naked in the movie. So
and then
whatever.
they're demure about a side boob.
Well, and then I'm saying it's her nude debut. Yet there's thousands of guys that have seen her like spreading vagina lips and asshole, and it's kind of weird. But I do know about the cell phone pics, but I'm talking about for movies and television.
I totally hear you.
Hey, another thing too is last week I told you I had Skin Scouts at the South by Southwest Film Fest, and I had a couple breaking nudes. Noelle Wells, who was, you might know from SNL a few years back. She used to do like Kylie Jenner and Reba McEntire. She had a movie. Mm-hmm. She had a movie where she was naked in called Mr. Roosevelt, and then Charlize Theron had a really cool movie called Atomic Blonde, which you could check out the Red Band trailer. It's really good, sexy stuff. She was naked, but I said to you that I'd have more updates on South by Southwest this week, and I just wanted to follow up real quick. So I think the total was 15 movies at South by Southwest had celebrity nudity, not to the level of Charlize Theron and Noelle Wells, but people that we knew at MrSkin.com. Examples, a couple movies. There's a hot Australian actress, a blonde named Emma Booth, who did a movie called Hounds of Love, which at South by Southwest, she showed breasts, which my Skin Scouts were saying, be ready for this movie. You're going to love it. She looks great, which is cool. And then get this. I don't know if you know that Clint Eastwood's daughter, Francesca Eastwood, who is his daughter now he has a bunch of daughters with different wives, but this is the one he had with Frances Fisher in the early 90s. So she's not that old. She's probably like 25 or something. Her name's Francesca Eastwood, and she did a movie called MFA where she showed butt and breasts. And from what I hear, Andrea, you will have Northwood when you see Francesca Eastwood. She looks good, according to my guys. And I forgot that I knew he was with Frances Fisher, but I forgot that he had a daughter that was already in her 20s. So anyway, that was pretty cool. And how about this? There's a movie at South by Southwest. Of course it has nudity, but this is the name of the movie, Assholes.
Oh.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Is that starring Jennifer Lawrence's cell phone pictures?
Oh, no, that's not nice. But yeah, there's a girl named Betsy Brown who's nude in it, but no pun intended. Yeah,
Betsy Brown eyes.
yeah. So anyway, bottom line, South by Southwest had a nice lineup of nudity, and I was glad my Skin Scouts saw it. And what's great about this is this means that these movies will be out later in 2017, or even in some cases 2018. But we have the jump, we have the scoop, we have the exact times of all these nude scenes. Yes. So this is these guys are great. They sit through these movies as real movie reviewers, and then feed me the nude scene so we could put it at the website and talk about it on the podcast and let our people that come to the website know about this stuff. So so South by Southwest, some great stuff. I did want to follow up because last week I only had like half the report and just wanted to make sure we were all good to go. So hey, Andrea, before we move on with the show, why don't you tell our listeners more about our new sponsor?
I would love to, especially because the fellas that may be listening to the podcast, I want to ask them, are you looking to spice things up in the bedroom or been fantasizing about surprising your lover with an adventurous new toy or adult movie? Well, here's an offer you won't be able to resist. Go to adamandeve.com, and for a limited time, you'll get 50% off just about any item. But that's not all. When you select your one item at 50% off, you'll also receive 3 free adult DVDs. And for a little inspiration.
Yeah, that's
plus
pretty cool. No, I'm sorry. I got excited. Go ahead.
Plus a free extra gift. So sensual, I can't even mention it on this podcast. So you know it's good. And to top it off, we'll even throw in free shipping on your entire order. And no, I am not kidding. So check out adamandeve.com today and type Mr. Skin for the offer code upon checkout. And when you do, you'll get that 50% discount, 3 free DVDs, a free extra gift, and free shipping. That code again is MRSKIN, Mr. Skin at adamandeve.com.
Yeah, that's really cool. You know, I've been in this business 18 years, and Adam and Eve is bigger than big. They
They are it.
Andrew, when I think of sex toys, I think of Adam and Eve.
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They've been along for such a long time. They have a great reputation. You know what I love about them is their discretion. You know, you don't feel like you're some creep weirdo going into the neighborhood store and, you know, people are looking at you buying your sex toys. You know, they mail you stuff in plain packages and you can be in the privacy of your own home and looking on your computer. It's like, why would anyone take a field trip to the sex store when you can do it from Adam and Eve?
Yeah, and they're huge, and I'm really honored that
well
Adam and Eve.
Yeah,
really cool that they're a part of our podcast now. So they're the Coca-Cola or the HBO of adult sex toys, and really cool to be with Adam and Eve. So very, very good. I'm very honored by that. But Andrew, I have so much more to get to.
Get to it, baby.
Yeah, one of the things I just wanted to mention real quick is at MrSkin.com, we're doing our Wacket bracket, which I know, Andrea, you know absolutely nothing about sports, but the NCAA tournament, basketball tournament, is going on right now. And we did a really great job at the website. We got hundreds of thousands of people voted in the first round, and we're down to the Sweet 16. And what we basically did is have 4 brackets of 16 actresses, and we ranked each one. Seeded them 1 through 16 in each bracket, and the 4 number 1 seeds are Alexandra Daddario, who you and I have talked,
of course,
my girlfriend, Scarlett Johansson,
nice,
Salma Hayek, and Margot Robbie are the 4 1 seeds, and they all advanced. No 1 seeds were knocked off in the Wacket bracket, but anyway, we had, like I said, hundreds of thousands of people vote, and we're down to the Sweet 16. I just real quick wanted to give you an idea. Like, there were the big names, like Alexandra Daddario won. She got like 82% of the vote over the 16th seed, Sarah Malakula. And I expected that. Emilia Clarke was interesting. She got 84% as a number 3 seed. She's, you know her as
Daenerys or whatever.
Yeah, from Game of Thrones, yes. You know her.
Queen of the Dragons.
Mother of Dragons, yes.
Yeah, she has like 10 names on that show.
I know. Khaleesi.
Yeah,
but,
I'm like, what is this bitch called?
Yeah, right. Well, also, the big one, I noticed ScarJo was a 1 seed. She was up against Lady Gaga. She got 92% of the vote.
Wow.
Which yeah. I mean, I knew ScarJo would win, but 92% is kind of crazy. But
that's a landslide.
There were upsets as we hear at this with the Sweet 16. So I was looking this morning when we put up at the website the next round, and the 11th seed Gemma Arterton, who's a hot British babe, upset the 6th seed Allison Williams from Girls. She of ass eating. Allison Williams. She lost. 11 beat the 6. And then Teresa Palmer, who is this hot blonde. You might know her from Grudge 2. She got naked in a movie called Restraint. She beat the 4 seed Rosamund Pike, who's a British Bond girl. Really beautiful actress. I was surprised by a 13 beating a 4. But believe it or not, Eliza Dushku was a 13. She beat Evan Rachel Wood, our friend from Westworld. Yeah.
That's almost unbelievable to me.
Yeah, she got like 53% of the vote, but she beat Evan Rachel Wood, so she
it was
moves
a close
on.
One.
Yeah, oh yeah, there was a lot of close votes in this.
It just goes to show, like Lisa, whatever her name is, she has not done anything for a while, right?
Well, yeah, she was more popular about 10 years ago, but
yeah,
she was on Banshee in their last season, and you know, showed a little butt, and it was kind of so
it just
she's
goes
back.
to show, though, like when people have a favorite from a decade ago, even though Evan Rachel Wood might be doing more nudity, better nudity, and is an actual A-list star right now, people's fondness and memory will always kind of supersede.
It's the Alyssa Milano effect.
Totally,
it's where if you grew up watching someone, and a lot of guys remember watching Eliza Dushku when she was younger.
With you, yep.
Yeah, it just once it's someone you saw as a young guy, man, it stays with you forever. But the big showdown we're excited about here at the office, I actually had a couple of the guys that work for me were wanting my opinion, but Scarlett Johansson's a 1 seed. Now, I felt Emily Ratajkowski was an 8 seed, was kind of a low seed because she's so out there, so hot. Now, I know she isn't a movie star, but she's like
She's a
an
very
internet
well-known model.
sensation, you know, blurred lines and all the modeling. You see her all over. So it's ScarJo a 1 versus Emily Ratajkowski an 8. So we'll see who wins. I'll update you on next week's show, but that's like the big showdown here at the skin offices that the guys are talking about. So anyway, it's the Wacket bracket. And by the way, if you have a chance, watch the video. Our guys did a wonderful job. We even got not Dickie V to narrate it, but Sticky V, V, and
I saw that.
He is so funny.
/Wacket.
Yeah, he's really funny. Sticky
Super
V.
Funny.
Yeah, you don't want to miss Sticky V. But anyway, so it's the Wacket bracket at MrSkin.com. Stop by and check it out. And let me look real quick. But what do you win, CP? How do you pronounce that?
It's a Ricoh 360 camera.
Yeah, so it's a Ricoh Theta SC 360 camera. Just for voting, you're entered in to win this thing, and it's pretty cool. And just for voting, we pull your name out of a hat, and you can win one of these. So always giving, so cool. Andrea.
I know. I hope your listeners and your fans know how spoiled they are, because I've been doing radio and TV and podcasts for years, and I've never given away so much free stuff.
Yeah, didn't you used to charge people to vote at your things when you were in radio?
Pay me to vote on my titties. Yeah, I mean.
That's funny.
You are doing such amazing work for humanity, Skin.
Well, yeah.
Thank
you so much. Yeah. The accolades are pouring in. Anyway, so I wanted to bring up, I wonder if you'll even know this, but so last week, I got a phone call from the New York Post, page 6, Ollie Coleman, who's a columnist there. Did you know that it's the 10-year anniversary of the Kim Kardashian sex tape?
No, I would have thought it was a lot longer ago, because it feels like these motherfuckers will not get off my TV for a century. It's only been 10 years. Oh my God.
Well, it's interesting because they're doing an oral history of the thing. So he interviewed a bunch of people, and I was one of them. And it was interesting. So I want to get your opinion on one thing, but just a little background. So in my opinion, the three, like the Mount Rushmore, there's not 4, but the 3 Mount Rushmore of celebrity sex tapes. Pam Anderson for sure.
Oh, totally. Hands
Paris
down,
Hilton,
number 1. Yep.
Hands down for sure. My pants. Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian. And the reason I say that
you mean Tonya Harding didn't make the list?
What's that?
The Tonya Harding didn't make the list.
Oh, when Jeff Gillooly jizzed in her hand and she held it up, you didn't think that was sexy. I like that. I'm fascinated by that sex tape, but no, that is not it. That is not on the Mount Rushmore of celebrity sex tapes.
But what's so funny? It's like the Pam Ann one is just so. It's like it's in a league of its own.
Well, let me tell you, that's another one where when my wife gets her hands on that, every once in a while I'll whip it out for a special occasion.
Totally,
and
man.
That is guaranteed good things happening at the Skin residence,
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but here's the deal. Pam Anderson, when obviously that was, or allegedly, but I'm pretty sure history backs up the fact that the Pam Anderson tape was leaked the old-fashioned way. It was stolen by an employee, and he made copies, passed them around. They got copied and copied and copied, and all of a sudden that thing was all over the place, right? And what happened was Pam and Tommy Lee were like, screw it, and they said, instead of trying to sue everyone and track this stuff down, they just made a deal with Vivid and released it out there professionally through Vivid and shared in the revenue. And they were like, listen, it's out there. We might as well make money. And they made a ton of money from what I hear. It was supposed to be a very good, everyone made money on that sex tape once they made that deal.
Right. Now, but they were violated at first, but then they came to terms with it.
Yeah, 100%. But they said it's supposedly the best-selling adult video of all time, the Pam and Tommy Lee.
I mean, it's good. Pam is good.
And that was, and don't forget, that was before, you could go on the internet and watch it.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense? So,
yes.
so you had to buy it.
Yeah.
And that's why it made so much money. It's different now. If this was today, it wouldn't happen. And that's not going to get into.
Yeah, we'd just be sharing links and, illegal downloads.
Now, the Paris Hilton sex tape made money, of course, but what it also did was it allowed Paris Hilton to become a
superstar,
big celebrity, and she was able to make ancillary money outside of that. And it kind of proved that, hey, you can be caught with a leaked tape or a tape gets out there, but it doesn't ruin your career. It can actually help your career. Mm-hmm. So in both Pam Anderson's case and in Paris Hilton's case, you made money off these sex tapes, or you made your career, whatever it was. In the case of Kim Kardashian, I was telling this Ali Coleman, I believe the Kim Kardashian sex tape will be the last celebrity sex tape that anyone ever really makes a huge amount of money or success from, and I'll explain it in a minute. But if you think about it, Kim Kardashian was pretty relatively unknown when her and Ray J and this tape got out. But
she was famous for being Paris Hilton's friend.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, she was no one.
Well, it's right or wrong, there was an air about it being calculated. Like, she or somebody saw what happened with Pam and Paris and thought,
it was 100% calculated.
Well, right, and I believe so too. But we could really use the sex tape medium to launch something way huger than they currently had going on, and it worked for Kim Kardashian. But this was 2007. And I just don't think it's going to be able to happen again, and I'll explain that. But remember that right now, of those three, Kim Kardashian has made more money than probably Paris Hilton and Pam Anderson combined, right? I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible what has happened to her.
And you know
career.
what the funniest part about that is? I've seen the Pam Anderson tape. I've seen the Paris Hilton tape, and I have not seen the Kim Kardashian tape.
Well,
it's so weird how she was able to translate this into like something so much bigger when there really wasn't even that much interest in the tape. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I agree. Yeah. And like, after this happened and her career exploded, I know Amy Fisher, Teen Mom, they all tried to do these celebrity sex tapes.
Everyone
it just didn't
tried,
work out.
Man. Kendra Wilkinson,
Montana Fishburne, all this. But she got in just at the end before. Now, here's what I was saying to this, Ali Coleman. I'd love your opinion on this because this was my thing. So I feel that this is not going to happen again for a couple reasons. One is kind of like the moments pass. Like, everybody is now with the internet. There's so much nudity and ways to see nudity that, number one, it's not a big deal anymore. But here's the big thing. I think there's really been a cultural shift on this, especially among young people. Now, I mentioned the fappening earlier, and those cell phone pics got leaked of Jennifer Lawrence and a bunch of other. If you remember, the online reaction was very, very negative when that happened. I remember Howard Stern even saying, I won't even look at them, da-da-da. And I think the reason, this is what I wanted to ask your opinion on. I think, and this is what I said to Ali Coleman at page 6, I said the reason I think it's different now, nowadays everybody has some type of compromising pics on their phone, or you have sex of yourself on your phone, naked pics, whatever it is. And I think that there's a feeling of, hey, this could be me. This could have happened to me. So all of a sudden, it's not as sexy. It's like when Pam Anderson and Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian did it, it was like they willingly kind of did it. This was the attitude, like, oh, they're bad girls. They did it, so I want to see it. I want to see it. But now, if someone stole it, there's a lot of people that are like, you know what? That's not cool. I'm not into it. And I truly believe that plays a big part of it. Like, I don't think you're going to get, there's no way that you're going to get the kind of, and I should say, plus with the internet too, you're not going to be able to make money because it'll be shared all over where people don't have to pay for it. But I do wonder if you feel like when someone steals a cell phone pic, do you kind of feel like, oh man, that could have been me type of feeling, like that's shitty? Do you agree with that at all?
I'm different because I take nude photos for a living. So
yeah, that is true.
Really
so you're not the best person to ask on that.
No, I'm the worst person to ask because I have thought about this when the fappening happened, and I go, in my pictures or in my phone, if someone hacked into my phone, it'd be like all food. Because
yeah, that is.
You know
funny.
what I mean? Like honestly, like there's pictures. There's so much more explicit pictures online of me for shoots I did for things like Strip Las Vegas or whatever. That I mean, I don't even take sexy pictures of my phone because they can't match the quality of sexiness that a photographer took. So,
no,
but
that makes sense. I guess you're not the person to ask this, but I just think with
surmise. I think that
go ahead.
When people see these pictures and, our empathy as human beings comes out and we're like, oh my God, this could be me. And it's almost like a public service announcement to not be a whore and stop taking pictures on your phone, you stupid sluts. Stop taking free content because you too could get hacked. So I feel like it's almost like a warning to people, and it does instill fear. And then, there's some dirty minded people or not kind people that will love these leaked pictures and love the fact that it's stolen and this and that. But I think the general group consciousness of the world is that, hey, this isn't cool. We take private pictures too. I wouldn't want mine out. So I actually do agree with you. And the oversaturation of the internet.
Yeah, I think it comes back to when he was asking me, do you ever think someone could have success like Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, Pam Anderson? I think number one, it's a different time now because of all the internet and sharing and all that. But I also think that there's state laws against taking pictures of women and then the revenge porn
revenge
and all that other stuff.
Thing.
I just don't think it's possible to have the success that those three did. I believe that Kim Kardashian closed the door on celebrity sex tapes where you could ever have the level of success that those three. I just don't think it'll ever happen again to that extent. I'm not saying that guys wouldn't check stuff out, but I'm talking about where you either make a ton of money off the tape or you become incredibly famous and successful in business because of it. So
I will
say, that's what I said to this guy at page 6. So
I do think that the only exception to this rule would be someone who was formerly an A-list actor or actress who has kind of fallen off the radar, and a sex tape would come out that may give them a huge resurgence, but it'd have to be a big star. It'd have to be
except that to make money off it, you need to be the only one that has it. And if it's all over the internet,
you're right.
Why would a guy pay for it? That's what I'm saying. And in this day and age, it's very difficult to keep that under lock and key. When Pam Anderson did it, you couldn't go on the internet and do it. I mean, it was just a different thing. And even
locked in a safe. Yeah.
Yeah. And in 2007, 10 years ago, I think of my friends, they wouldn't have been able to figure out how to find it around the internet, so now people are a lot more internet savvy. And I just don't think, I just think nowadays you couldn't pull it off like you did. So anyway, I just wanted to bring it up. It's a 10-year anniversary of the KimK and Ray J sex tape, and the oral history will be out soon. Hey, real quick, I was thinking about the sex tape. There is one that I don't even know if you know about. Ooh. It's really cool. So there was a book out, and this guy was even on Howard Stern, so I'm not making this stuff up. It's called Prisoner of X, 20 Years in the Hole at Hustler Magazine. His name's Alan McDonnell. Okay. Great guy. I've actually met him. I've actually had drinks with him once, and or not drinks, but dinner, and I had drinks. He wasn't drinking, but really nice guy. And he released this book in 2007, and he talked about he worked for Larry Flynt for many years, and actually, I should say, he also actually wrote for us in the early days of our website part time. So I know him pretty well. And he told the story. It was back in 1994. A guy called up Hustler and said that he had a sex tape of Donald Trump and Marla Maples.
No.
No, that's what he said. But then what happened was they said, well, come on in. And he comes in, but it wasn't of Donald Trump and Marla Maples. It was of, and they all swear this is true. Even Mike McPadden, who actually has worked for me, was in the room and saw this. So
I'm dying of anticipation right now.
Oh, you will not believe this. Listen who the tape was. Ted Turner and Jane Fonda.
What?
Yes. And he talked about this on Howard Stern. So I'm just reliving it. And he talked about it in his book. So the tape depicts Jane Fonda and her then husband, Ted Turner, who was a billionaire media mogul, of course, and they're in bed with another woman. And there was like a fourth person shooting them with a good video camera. So listen to this, Andrea. In the video, which other than these handful of people have seen this, and I'll explain why in a bit. In the video, Jane is eating the girl out, the third girl, or the third person in the threesome. She puts on a strap-on and bangs the girl. This is Jane Fonda. Then Ted bangs the girl, the other girl, and then, get this, Jane puts the strap-on on and bangs, yes, Ted Turner.
No!
Yes.
You know what? I am
go ahead.
Fonda Jane. I knew that, she was a little freak a leak. I had a suspicion, and I really like her all of a sudden.
Well, both Alan McDonald and Mike McPadden both said that this was like high quality.
Dude.
Like it wasn't like shaky, dark camera. This was like they had like a professional camera person or so. It was like hot, and there was no question it was them, according to them. And I guess there was a funny moment where Ted Turner yelled, "My dick is as big as a house," and then I guess I'm getting a little graphic here, but
Bring it on.
She's doing him from behind. He is coming. He grunts and growls and yells, "God damn it, Jane, it slipped out." This is according to these guys. Yeah, it's all in the book. It's all these guys, what they've talked about. Yeah. So anyway, it's pretty incredible that this supposedly exists. But then I guess what happened that Larry Flint totally cheaped out. The guy wanted like $1 million for this videotape. I have no idea how he got a hold of it.
Yeah.
And he only offered, I think, according to them, he only offered like $30,000, and the guy just disappeared. And so they started, McP and Alan McDowell started, they would drop hints in the magazine that they had seen the tape. There were people that had seen the tape around the office, or these guys were writing in little comments that were said in the sex tape. And I guess according to them, and again, I'm just going on the story from the book and what these guys have told me, but about 6 months later, Ted Turner called Larry Flint and said, "Hey, Larry, I understand you may have seen a video of me and my wife. I'd like to get in touch with the guy who showed it to you." And Larry was like, "I bet you would." So they think that Ted Turner found the guy and just bought the tape from him, because that's why we've never seen it. But
that makes the most sense.
Yeah, in his book, and these guys were in the room when they brought the thing to Hustler. They both worked at Hustler for many years. They claim it happened, and it's one of those, people ask me like, what's the one nude scene or one video you'd love to see that you haven't seen? That's kind of like my holy grail. I would love to see that and see if it really exists.
Me too. I mean, that to me is like right up my alley. Anyway, that's what I want to do, what I like to do. I want to watch Jane Fonda and Ted Turner doing it.
Yeah, and supposedly Jane Fonda, it was like, early 90s when this was done, so she looked amazing.
Yes.
And this was Jane Fonda, body by Jane Fonda.
Yes.
And she supposedly looked awesome, and they said you wouldn't believe how great that video is. So anyway, supposedly it exists, and it's out there. But anyway, hey, last but not least, real quick, because we got to wrap up here. Did you know, Andrea, that there is a I guess it's a docu-series coming out called American Playboy, the Hugh Hefner story? It's going to be Amazon announced. Last year, Amazon announced that they're going to do a 13-part docu-series, and the trailer is finally out, and we watched it here at the Mr. Skin offices. Yeah, so we're excited about that. And now what they're going to do is, if you watch the trailer, they're going to have like real documentary footage of Hugh Hefner with the real Hugh, and then they have this dude, Matt Whalen, who's from New Zealand, who I forget what TV series he's from, but you'd recognize him. I think Narcos, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, they're going to like also act out certain parts of Hugh Hefner's life with this Matt Whalen. So it's a kind of that's why I called it a docu-series, where it's part documentary and part like, fictionalized moments of Hugh Hefner's life. And anyway, it's coming out later this year, and we'll be all over that at Mr. Skin. As you know, Andrea, I'm a huge Hugh Hefner fan. I even have a Hugh Hefner bobblehead in my office. So I'm a big fan. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of his as well. Obviously not because he's been my boss for the past, 15 years, but his life story is just so cool. And I feel like he's really misunderstood and people don't get him. And anytime there can be any kind of inkling into his actual motivations, his daily life, what it was like for him, building this empire out of nothing, I think it's really special. So this really excites me. I'm excited to watch this. Yeah,
I am too. And even when they go back to the old his TV show from early in Playboy After Dark, and they talk about how all these black actors and actresses actually got treated humanely, and got to perform in front of white people at a party, which never happened at the time. And it's pretty cool stuff. But of course, they're going to get into all the great stuff. Sexy stuff. And I love the Playmates from the 60s and 70s. Oh, my God.
So does Hef. I mean, he still is like, Barbie Benton and all those girls. I mean, since that time in history, he's maintained relationships with these Playmates.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's cool. Because I just thought the bodies of the 50s and the 60s. I remember they showed Janet Pilgrim, who was like the real girl next door. She was one of the first Playmates, and I guess she had been working somewhere in the building that Playboy had their offices. And that's the kind of stuff where, like, you're a beautiful woman, you become a Playmate, not because you were a famous person. You were just this beautiful girl. You take your clothes off, and you're in the magazine. All the guys fall in love with you. And to this day, you still remember these Playmates many 40, 50, 30 years after the fact. And that's so cool. I love it.
I'm with you. And that was Hef's whole thing, the girl next door. Of course they do celebrity pictorials, but it's all about finding that unknown, fresh-faced, perky-bodied, nice, just sweetheart that now is your little fantasy for the month. I'm all about it. I'm like Hef's biggest fan.
No, I know. Yeah, I know. And we're both very happy that Playboy's nude again, because that's the way Playboy should be.
Yes,
yeah. So
yes.
Anyway, okay, that was a lot of stuff. When you start getting into Ted Turner getting banged in the ass, so you
I
gotta
learned so much this show, Skin. I learned that you made a GIF of Keri Russell's bouncing butt, which I think the whole world needs to go see. MrSkinPodcast.com. I'm happy to hear that South by Southwest has 15 movies with celeb nudes. I'm happy to hear that Big Little Lies is something that you can watch with your woman, and it'll make her hot and
highly recommend it for you.
And that the Sweet 16 on your website with the Wacket bracket is going so well, and I can't wait to see that ScarJo and Emily Ratajkowski, or however you say her name, showdown.
Yeah, we'll have an update next week who won, but there'll be stiff competition in that one, Andrew.
And I'm just most shocked that Ted Turner says his dick is as big as a house. So
hey man, I want to see it to prove it.
This was a good damn show, Mr. Skin. I don't know how we're going to top it, but it was a pretty damn good show.
Well, top it is a great way to end it. So anyway, all right. Well, we'll talk next week. And again, Jimmy no longer on the show, and it's not any bad
no, he's just moving on.
Problems. He's just moving on to bigger and better things, which is totally cool. We're really happy for him. So Andrea, until next week, we'll talk.
All right. Sounds good. Bye, Mr.
Take
Skin.
Care.
This concludes another scintillating episode of the Mr. Skin Podcast. Subscribe to the Mr. Skin Podcast in iTunes and never miss a show. Thanks for listening.